We would like to inform our tourists. The ferry to Chatham Port bound has arrived at Nanara Pier.